Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tranquility Through... No, it's not. Oh, dear, this is a bad start. I thought I was with it, but no. Hello to New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. That's it. What I should do now is actually get rid of this, and then it will tell me what channel I'm on. There we go. But I have to put my name up for my new viewers because I dislike it very much when I go on a channel and I don't know who on earth the people are that are talking. So my name is Dawn, and this is my main channel, New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. But of course, do check out my other channel as well, which is Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. I only get mixed up because I don't know what day it is. My alarm goes off. Do a live. Now I have to get my head around what live I'm actually doing. So there we go. And if you want to see my lives on Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, that is on Fridays, but at a different time to these ones. So do go and check those out. Okay, let's check the comments, and we see our friends Steve and Tina Jewel are here, and look at their lovely blue colour in the chat. Steve and Tina Jewel, my most recent moderators. So guys, do go over and check out their channel. So let's start today with, let's see, what shall we begin today with? Let's begin with this. Yes, tambourine time is not a music interlude or where we all get out a instrument close to hand, or if we don't have an instrument, a saucepan, and bash that about for a little bit of musical karaoke. No, it means I'm going to do shout outs. It was something I did a long time back, and in my lives I would just randomly shake the tambourine and everyone knows that was a shout out. So let me just go on my Word doc so I can put the channels I'm going to shout out in the chat as well. So I just copy and paste, copy, bring it over to the comments and paste. So the first channel, I have shouted them out before, but it's one of my favourite types of channel, and it's Gavin's channel. And you can see the link there at Gav Retro 70s Kid 78. And if you're interested in all sorts of things 70s, particularly TV, or he talks about things that I do, things you remember, maybe foods and sweets, those kind of things, then definitely go and check out his channel. That's one I like. And then I'll just go back to my Word doc again so I can pull up another one for you that I wanted to share. And these are in the links in this live. So after the live's happened, you can actually go into the links under this video when it's posted and you'll see the links there. So don't worry if you can't grab them here, or as many of my viewers do, they're busy gardening when they're listening. So the second channel is My 70s TV Childhood, and that's at My 70s TV Childhood. And I love that one. That's probably my favourite. And I listen to the podcast version of it. I don't watch it on YouTube. I listen to the podcast version, and that's something I listen to a lot when I'm doing gardening. I'll throw on a podcast. If I rake, I can't listen to a podcast because I have like you all call them different things in different countries. Unfortunately, what the Americans call them is a word not allowed on YouTube, but bum bag is what we call them in England. The Americans call it the front bit. So it's like a little pouch bag, you know, that you clip on like a belt, like a money belt, if you like. And in there I have my glasses, tissues, and my phone where I listen to podcasts. But if I'm raking, I can't hear it. And I find I rake slowly because I'm trying to listen. So the volume on the phone is good enough if I'm, I don't know, weeding or something like that, or do a monotonous job, such as when I was cutting all my olive tree branches, things like that. If I have a tool, a power tool, I can't hear anything. So if I'm doing something with secateurs or that kind of thing, then I listen to them. And my 70s TV Childhood is my favourite. But I now have so many podcasts of different talking about old TVs, whether it be one of them is old comedy series, English TV. I'm not fond of a lot of the American old comedies or things like Friends. I'm not into those sort of ones. I like British comedies, sitcoms as we call them. Obviously children's television from the 60s and 70s. I've just found a podcast of Grange Hill, so English people will know that. That's something I quite like, and it's talking to the actors. Each episode is a different actor. I think it's called Sausage on a Fork, if any of you are into that. Sausage on a Fork. And if you know Grange Hill, you'll know exactly why it's called Sausage on a Fork, because of the intro of Grange Hill. It was done like a comic or a magazine sort of picture comic, and one thing was a fork comes out. I think it gets thrown in the dining hall and it's got a sausage on it. So that each episode they talk to one actor that was in it, and they asked them about their remember they were children, so they asked them how they got into it or acting, what they'd done before, during their time there, sort of behind the scenes chat, and also what they've done since, because that was 70s, 80s, 90s, the programme, so what they've done since. So that's quite interesting as well. But I do jump around to all these different things. I'm into some films, but not all, so not necessarily film podcasts, unless they're films of TV series, which there was a lot of that, particularly in the late 70s. There was a lot of films made of TV programs, cinema films. So that's my two shout outs. So if you're into, a lot of them are American presenters, but some talk about British TV. Some are only American, but obviously we saw a lot of those. So I just go through, if they're ones I'm interested in, what I listen to. If they're not, then I don't. But that's what I'm into. Okay, let's go along and let's go on to our first thing we're going to talk about today. So the last episode, I showed you the book I was going to start, The Pursuit of Happiness by Douglas Kennedy. Now, I don't know anything about Douglas Kennedy, but I'm guessing, total guess, he may not be a he, because a lot of women writers write under men's names, or it's co-written, which the person isn't there, because chapter 1 and chapter 2 are completely different ways of writing. Now, it's the same story, and it's almost like two completely different writers. Whether it is Douglas trying a different format within a book, but it just seems very bizarre. For example, the first chapter, I will give it 8 out of 10, which is extremely high for me to rate a book. 8 out of 10. The second chapter, I'm giving it a 3. Can you see how totally different it is now? It's the first part of the book was so gripping. I was like, wow, this is just the type of book I enjoy. It's twists and turns, unexpected things happen. In part 2, it's writing about somebody else. It's to do with the story, but it's what I call boring. It's a conversation that has no part of the story. And the two people are constantly just talking about this. The second part is sort of wartime. And because it's gone back a bit, but talk about someone else that appears in the story. I can't ruin it for you by talking too much about who and what. And every second sentence is putting a name reference of someone in history during that time. So they're just having a chat about nothing, which isn't needed in the book. Maybe it's a thick book and they had to write so many pages. To me, if I was editing the book, I'd say, well, cut all that bit out. It had no relevance. And as I say, every sentence was just trying to name drop historical people or historical newspapers or anything like that. And they'd say, oh, you remind me of blah, blah, blah. And the other person would laugh and then they'd carry on the conversation. It had no relevance whatsoever. It was almost as if you drop this name in, we'll pay you extra. It was just so unnecessary. It's getting better again now. I'm on the next sort of segment of the book, and I hope it will pick up now from here. But it was such a contrast from the first bit to the second bit. So I don't know if I could recommend it right now. It almost was disappointing. It suddenly was like, oh, it's like I was reading an entirely different book. There is a relevance of the people, what's happening, but it was so differently written. If the second bit I didn't like was the first bit, I might have stopped reading it. That's how there it was. And I skim read a lot of it because, as I say, it was a conversation that was nothing to do with the story or the book or the people. They were just name dropping, almost like the author wanted to say he knew things about history and he wanted them in his book, but it just wasn't relevant. Write a different book. So I'm kind of swings and roundabouts at the moment. I think it would get back on track. It was just, as I say, so unnecessary, that bit. And I was giving it an 8 and it was quite gripping. So we will see where that goes. Stephen Teen say, have you heard of Stuart McLean and his stories of Family Vinyl Cafe? Very funny. Let me write it down. Sounds AI written. The first bit, not. Almost, as I say, it was so opposite. Almost like they'd started writing the book and then, as you say, AI, because they didn't know how to write the second character, the past. Almost as if someone else had written that chapter or segment for him that knew about that time. It was just so bizarre. Okay, let's see. Stuart McLean, Vinyl Cafe. Is that a podcast, Mr. Steve? Is it a podcast? Okie doke. Oh, I know what we do today. Let's get on the page and let's do this. Okay, Steve's saying it's a podcast, CBC Canada. I don't know if I can get that, can I? I don't pay for anything, so I just have whatever the podcast system is on my phone. I just have that. I listen nearly every night. Okay, I'll see if I can get hold of that. Although sometimes people do them over several different podcast platforms, so I'll type in and see what I get. But thanks for that. Now, this puzzle piece is especially for Steve because Steve's got the same warped mind as I have. We think the same. So he's very good at getting the answers to my funny quizzes. YouTube. Oh, cool. I think that's what I have. Cool. So this is for you, Steve. I think this is harder, but it's still my way of thinking. So this is today's puzzle. Let's see if anyone gets it. When can you add the number 2 to the number 11 and get the number 1 as a correct answer? When can you add 2 to 11 and get 1 as a correct answer? And it's real. It's not like silly. It's real. It's a real way you can do it. When can you add the number 2 to the number 11 and get the number 1 as a correct answer? When can you add 2 to 11 and get 1 as a correct answer? Dave cooks the turkey. Cool. I will look at that. So that's my puzzle corner for now. I'll leave it a while and let you all ponder on that. If you're watching this back later, let me know if you got the answer before I gave the answer later on. So let's see. Okay, I think we should visit Quote Corner for Wednesday. So here it is. No answers yet on the puzzle as we speak. So let's go on to this. Of course, you must know by now I'm doing my first embroidery. I've always done cross stitch, not always, only as an adult, but I've never really done embroidery before. And one of my viewers sent me this to do, which I'm very grateful for. I'm really enjoying doing it. It's a slow process, especially with my disabilities, but I'm enjoying doing it. I will do another one. I would maybe try and create my own one, but I think I will next do a cross stitch because I'm missing doing that as well. So I think I'll alternate between cross stitch and embroidery projects. I have got something in mind for my next embroidery project. Or maybe I'll have both on the go at once and then I can dip into it. I find with the embroidery, I need to have time because I don't like to stop mid-embroidery of a section or something, whereas cross-stitch I can pick down, put up a bit more. So I might have both going, and then times where I've got more time to just sit and create or do embroidery, and where I've just got sort of 10 minutes or so, I'll probably do a cross-stitch. So here is how it's going. What have I done since you saw me? Oh, I finished doing outline. I think I'd done some outline. So I haven't finished. I've finished outlining all the bits I've embroidered. And I've also done like the chain guard, is it? You can tell Dawn doesn't cycle. Let me bring it there. So yes, I've done all the outline now of the bike. I've done the chain guard, isn't it? Chain guard. I've done that. That's with a different stitch. I'm trying to do different stitches for each part of the bike. It's coming along. It's coming along. We haven't got to the scary saddle bit yet. You know that's going to be the last bit. And the flowers aren't finished because I want to add some sort of sequiny type things to those. I don't want to do that till the last minute because they might well get in the way. I might outline the rest of the flowers. I don't know, probably. And then obviously the thing with embroidery, it takes so long to do, just a little bit. Oh, I hadn't done as well this, hold on, which way am I going? This way. This way. This bit that goes down to the middle of the wheel. I can't figure out to point, but the bit going down to the centre of the wheel, that wasn't done. So I did that bit as well. So yeah, I will probably do next the I can't say the right words. Steve's listening. He's such a bike man. If you want to know anything about bikes, go and visit Steve Jewell. The stick bit that goes to the pedal. I don't know what it's called. The bit that goes from the chain guard to the pedal, that thing. Tell me, Steve, what that's called. And then probably the bit holding the basket on the back of the bike. Then all that handlebar bit. We get to the fateful saddle at some point. That will be last. That will most definitely be last. Okay, let's see what we got in the chat. Chinese restaurant menu. Is that the answer to the quiz? When can you add 2 to 11 and get 1 as a correct answer? So let me say it again. Oh, I've got you on this one, Steve. When can you add the number 2 to the number 11 and get the number 1 as the correct answer? When can you add 2 to 11 and get 1 as a correct answer? It's a tricky one. I think I got you on this one, Steve. Oh dear, it took some thinking. I think I should have my own clap today if you haven't got it. Oh dear. Okay, what should we do now? let's do this. So just to say, I'm not going to be doing any collaborations at the moment. So those of you who normally have me in their collaborations, someone has asked me to do a collaboration. It might not always appear it, but I'm really struggling to keep my own channel going at the moment. And the trouble is, if you don't keep up with something, let's say you put up 2 videos a week. As soon as you drop, so let's say you do 1 video a week, YouTube then drops your payment. Now, I haven't had payment for 2 years, and it's saying at the moment I've crept back up again to, I think it's €8 a month. Now, I looked up the other day and I've got €30 I've earned. €30, and you have to get €70 for Cyprus. I know different countries you have to have a certain amount or a different amount, but here you have to have €70 before you get a payout, and then it has to be more than 70, and that's the amount you get paid. You don't get the 70, you get the amount over 70, and at the moment I have 30, and that's even with my super chats, which I don't get until the payout. So basically, some of my past super chats I haven't received until 2 years after people donated. So you don't get those, you don't get paid those, they get added on to what you will get paid by YouTube. So I can't afford, if I want another payout ever again, to drop what I'm already doing. So hence why I will keep posting my videos. I do 3 a week on this channel, and why I'm still going to be posting my videos on my other channel and doing my lives on my other channel. I don't get any income from those. You have to, there's a criteria. Again, it changes in each country, but you have to have so many subscribers, so many hours watched, that kind of thing. Just because I'm monetized on one channel, I'm not monetized on my other channels until they reach that same criteria. Now, because they brought shorts into play, it's reduced, or let's say increase, the amount you need of the other things as well. So yeah, it's not really a fair ballpark right now. So I would really like if you can spread the word of my other channel, because it would help me immensely if that could get monetized. Then even if I make €2 a month on that channel, that then gets added to my income. So instead of waiting 2 years to get a payout each time, if I had money or views, enough views, and they put ads on to the other channel once it's monetized, that gets added on, which means I'll actually get a little bit closer each month, and possibly might only have to wait 1.5 years to be paid out each time. So if you can sort of spread the word on my other channel as well, that is the channel I need monetized. I've already got enough subscribers on that channel. It's the watch hours I'm seriously lacking. I've got like this much watch hours and I need this much watch hours. So watch hours on Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty would be really appreciated. And I was doing 3 lives a week on that channel, but I just can't do that many lives. So although I need that channel happening, I kind of I had to weigh up, do I want to push only that channel more and get that monetized, or keep this channel going that I'm always potentially getting money for so far. And I thought, I'll work on that channel, and that's why I did more lives there. But then this channel was dropping its potential already coming in income. So that didn't make sense. That didn't make sense at all. So, and this channel's not promoted at all, because You can't get sponsorships. It's not because of Cyprus, it's YouTube doesn't allow sponsorships in many countries. It doesn't allow them. And a lot of promotional companies don't want to sponsor because it's such a small island, it's not worth it. Hence, the countries that really get pushed promotions by YouTube to have sponsorships are Portugal, England, Spain, France, America, Canada. There's 2 more, but they are why you will see sponsors on those channels all the more. So, yeah, so just to say, I'm really struggling to keep my channel going as it is. I will do my lives anyway because it's really helping with my speech. And over this week, I have severely dropped my capabilities. I've noticed it when I'm editing. There's been major pauses when I'm speaking, and I've just gone somewhere. I don't know where. I can't think of a name of something like tomato. I'm really deteriorating fast, and I feel I need to keep my lives going, to keep talking and trying to turn things over in my brain. So I will do it because it helps me anyway. But so that's why I'm not going to do collabs. Someone was very kind, said, "Oh, I'm sure you could manage just one." And it's like, well, not really. I'm like doing my own. And it's all very well to say, well, make a video for your channel, but just make it a collab thing. Well, I'd rather work on my own channel than promote another channel in that respect. If those channels that do the collabs were people who came on my channel, watch my channel, were in my comments, sure, I would push and probably do one, but not just for the sake of pushing someone else's channel I may not have even heard of. So there's that. So just really to say, I'm not doing extra than what I'm already doing. Let's see. Ooh, lots of things from Steve. My bike Spartamet video is going well. If you want to put a link into that, Steve, please do. Please put a link into that because I'm sure there'll be people interested in that. Bus routes. Oh, oh, I've really got you. So you're trying so hard. Steve's saying the answer is bus routes. When can you add 2 to 11 and get 1 as a correct answer? Not bus routes. That's a very clever answer, but no. I should get 3 tries. You've got as many tries as you like. You said do one a bit harder, and it's when you know the answer, it's like, no, it's not something you wouldn't know. Everyone would know it. Crank attached to pedal. That's the crank. Excellent. Thank you for that. I like to learn something. It's a lot of work. I enjoy it, but I'm still, because I have my own therapy to do. That sounds like I'm cranky. I do, let's say, for example, I do languages because that's one of the best things to keep your brain working. So I do that as well every day. It's very tiring to do all these things, but they're all things that will help me. If people say rest, the more I rest, the worse I get. Physically, it's not just mental issues, as in the brain damage, it's physical as well. As you know, I've taken days now where I sit, but they're the days I work my brain. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm on my laptop, I'm doing my languages. I do languages every day, but they're the Monday, Wednesday and Friday are days I'm on my laptop. I do my YouTube stuff, I edit, I post. This is why I don't have so much time now to look at other people's channels, because I want to just do Monday, Wednesday, Friday on my laptop. And they're my live days as well. The other days, I don't come near my laptop. I do the gardening, which is the physical side. I should be doing my physio, which I just haven't been able to do, but I should do my physio. I keep saying to Mike, I want to get back to that. Every time I want to get back to it and put the day aside, something else occurs, we have to go. Like Friday, I've got the eye hospital going on Friday. I will hopefully be back for my live, and then I'll tell you how that went. If I'm not here on my live Friday, oh dear. Oh dear. So Steve's trying with the puzzle again. The question was, when can you add 2 to 11 and get 1 as a correct answer? Steve's saying he thinks he's got it. He's saying it's the clock time. He's saying it's the clock time. When can you add 2 to 11 and get 1 as the correct answer? Yes, Steve. When you add 2 hours to 11 o'clock, you get 1 o'clock. Yes, well done. I thought I had you there. Your poor brain must be like, oh. Well done to you. You're having a try harder. Oh, that took you longer. You want me to go harder? Okay. I'm very pleased you got that, because that was pretty difficult. I wasn't sure you would get that, but you did great. You are doing great. I'm going to have to try harder. I can do that. There was actually another one I was going to do today, but I need to show you it on my little small whiteboard that I got when we play games on here. I sometimes use the whiteboard, but it's become my to do in the garden tomorrow board. Things to do tomorrow on the board. So let's do garden update, and then I'll show you what's on my board to do tomorrow. Yeah, so I was going to draw it on here. It's something visual for the quiz. As you can see, I've written my job. So let's see. I don't know if you know, quite a long time ago, 2, maybe 3 years ago, Mike used the tractor from the horse stables near us, and he brought back loads, and I mean loads, of horse manure. Now, I didn't want it in the garden, so we've got a really, really, really U-shaped, horseshoe-shaped driveway in and out. And he took the tractor all the way down the end and dropped it in piles, which is outside our fence line, but it's on our land. And I'm slowly, every now and then, it's a lot of effort, I go and dig it out. It's been out there about 3 years, I think, if not more, and it was old before that, so it's really good crumbly. If you saw it, you wouldn't even know it's manure. So every time I now want to plant something, I go and dig some of it up, put it in the wheelbarrow and put it where I'm going to plant something. So literally every time I'm in the garden now, I do 1 or 2 barrows of manure. So I've got that on my list. Tomorrow I want to, I've got to move Mr. Bean. Now, you've got a video coming up soon of the growth of Mr. Bean and Mr. Bean's travels. There's lots of things about Mr. Bean. He's literally as tall as the ceiling now. So he's got to go out. So manure for him. I want to plant out broccoli's ready to go. I've been making cages. You'll see that coming up. I want to trim, before we get blossom on the plum trees, I want to trim off some of the offshoots and put that in rooting compound. I've got 2 more grapevines to transplant that I've grown from seed, my seeds of my grapes. So again, that would be manure, moving those. I've got more raking grass to do. That's basically it. And I've got a whole box down here of paper to shred. So when we use paper, we use old envelopes to write on the back. And so when it's been used to its full ability, I then put it in a box, shred it and use it on the garden. So that's a lot of work to do. Hey, we got Joanne's garden in the house. Hello to you. Thank you so much for being here. And here's a special hello just for you. And let's go on now to a little promo that I'm doing for this month on my channel, and check out this playlist. Okay. Oh, Steve saying the quiz he got in 3. Well done to you. Steve saying used to have fantastic scarlet runner beans at our last home. Wow, that sounds good. Okay, let's go on to this. Okay, seeing as we're promoting the bug playlist on this channel, let's play today how many bugs and insects can we come up with. Let's say bad bugs. We can only say bad bugs or bad insects. So how many bad bugs or bad insects can you think of? So don't put any good bugs. Don't put any good bugs. Steve saying had a pest rat in the shed. It eats 2,000 of my son's paintballs over the winter. Oh my goodness. Blue paintballs. Oh dear. What are they made of? Well, if you don't want the rat, you've just got to inject something into those balls, I would think. I would think that. Okay, so we're playing how many bad bugs or bad insects can you come up with? Stephen Tina's saying bed bugs. Oh, yes, we can't say, oh, no, I think they're good. Bed bugs. Oh, they're horrendous. Goodness. Not something I've ever seen, but I hear there's lots of breakouts of those, particularly in English hotels. And we're not talking cheap hotels either. Apparently there's a big outbreak of them in England at the moment. Not nice at all. Bad bugs. Bad bugs. Slugs. I can't see any good benefits of slugs. No. All right, some of these bugs, they're good for nature, for, say, hedgehogs to eat and birds to eat, so on and so forth, but no good for us. Steve saying fleas. Yes, again, no good things about fleas. Can't see any purpose of fleas. Steve and Tina Jules say silverfish. Again, they're a good warning to us. Normally there's damp, but on the whole, silverfish, no purpose. Steve and Tina, cockroach. Oh yes, who wants a cockroach? And they reckon they're the only insect that could survive basically the end of the world. There would still be a cockroach running around. I was reading something about those the other day, and they're saying if you cut a head off a cockroach, it can still live. It can still live. And oh, what was it saying? Something else weird. It lives for quite a long time. The body, it doesn't need the head. I know worms, if you cut a worm, they sort of regrow. But yeah, I have to look that up. Mozzies. Oh, yes. Mosquitoes. They're not good. They're not good. Woodlice. Yes, I've done a whole video. I haven't covered every insect on my playlist yet, on my Bugs and Insects Friends or Foe playlist, but I did do a whole video on those. Now they've got so many different names. Roly-polies, purse something, woodlice. Let me see if I can find the video, because I listed all the names. I was like looking up every name of them to try and get the name, because some people know things only by certain names. Like me and Blue were talking on here saying about, we call ladybugs ladybirds in England. So it's handy when you make a film about something, you try and look up all the names. Oh, here we are. Woodlice, which is video 271, but I don't number my videos. Where are we? Woodlice, roly-poly, peel bugs, potato bugs, saw bugs. They're all the same thing. Woodlice, roly-poly, peel bugs, potato bugs, and saw bugs. They're all the same thing. Rats. Termites. Termites. Now, they are very good for insects, all sorts of insects, termites. But yeah, for us, no purpose. Ants. Yes, ants. For us, no. Although when you find what a lot of people call volunteer plants, I call them progressors, because no matter what, where they're thrown in life, they survive. So I like to call what people call volunteers progressors. Ants are often the culprits of that. They might be carrying a seed and gone. If you plant out loads of seeds and nothing comes up, that's normally ants. They take them back to their homes. Oh, that's something interesting I said recently. That, did you know when ants steal your seeds, they take them underground, but they know to break them in half and then they store them, because they know if they don't break them in half, they will grow. So they break seeds in half as soon as they take them down inside their ant nest. Interesting. Locusts. Oh, that's a good one. Locusts. Now, we have locusts here. A lot of people think they're crickets. They are locusts, and they are big and fat, like, crickets, like crickets, but they are locusts here. And they are fat. They are huge. When I was in, is it Fuerteventura? think it was in Fuerteventura. It was one year when they had a massive plague of them, massive plague. And saying that, one year, I think it was in the 70s, in Brighton, in England, it's a seaside place, very famous seaside place in England on the south coast. And one year, I'm sure it was in the late 70s, there was a plague of ladybugs, and there were so many of them. It was horrendous. There was just red in the sky, and they were all at ground level flying round. My mum said, let's escape them. Let's quickly go down this subway, like an underground walkway to the other side of the road. Oh, we went down there and they were all swooshing through it. Oh, you had them in your hair and everywhere. Wasp, says Stephen Tina Jewel. Wasp, yeah, I don't like wasp. Although they can pollinate, Although ants pollinate. You might get ants on your trees and things. Oh, if anyone's got a tip for me, I've tried all sorts of things. When you have fruit trees, you get ants running up the fruit trees and then eating the fruit. Has anyone got a good way of stopping ants going up your fruit trees? Bear in mind, I've tried many, many different things already, such as sticky tape stuck backwards round the trunk of the tree. That works, but it's so hot here, by the next day, it's not sticky anymore. Not sticky. That worked, but no, doesn't work for me. Works for one day. I guess you could put ant powder around the bottom, but we've got cats, so I don't like to use anything. What's the other thing I thought of doing? Oh, I've just read if you plant lavender around the bottom of your trees, that's supposed to stop that happening. I don't have that much lavender. We get them on our soft fruits. So any soft fruits, we don't get them on figs but now I've got so many new trees, and you'll see coming up the new fruit trees, I've got new types that I'm thinking a lot of you won't have heard or seen some of them. Yeah, some interesting new fruit trees. I've done a video on that playlist of wasps to say friend or foe, so you have to look at that and see what we say about that. I'm cheating because I'm going to look what else I've done a video on and see what else I think is a bad one. Whitefly. That is terrible. Whitefly. Cicadas don't really have any use. They're not a nuisance apart from they spit on you as you walk under the tree. We have a lot of cicadas here. What else? How about a metal band that would get hot in the sun and hard to cross? Is this a quiz? A metal band that would get hot in oh I thought you meant like a heavy metal band. I thought it was a quiz. Right, how about putting a metal band that would get hot in the sun and hard to cross? That's interesting, because in Cyprus, the carob trees that don't get pest, they put tin, like metal sheets from tin, metal roof sheets. They put that sort of tin round the bottom of carob trees, and you often drive round, you're like, why have they got tin round there? And quite deep, about this deep, always a collar round, not from the bottom, but part way up. And I asked what they were for, and they said for the tree rats, which are squirrels. Tree rats stops them going up and eating the carobs. That might work. Would ants not go on that if it was hot? My only other option is to keep them wet, because ants don't like running in wet. And the tip I've always done, if you eat outside and you get ants, if you're, let's say, sitting at a table outside and you get food ants, are the ones that climb up tables and eat your food, then put your table legs in dishes of water. So each leg is in a dish of water. Obviously, you want to make sure it's like not a wooden table. You want like plastic or metal. Put your leg in the water, and then ants won't go in it to climb up your table legs. so that's quite good. Yeah, so I'll think about that. Metal band, that's a thought. As I say, sticky traps work, but they don't stay sticky for 5 minutes, but that definitely works. Hornworms. Hornworms, anything that basically eats your plants, hornworms. I've got a whole video on that, really interesting video on hornworms. We get a lot of those here. Tin foil glued and wrapped around the trunk. Would the glue affect the fruit tree or not? You could definitely crush it on. That's a good one. Tin foil. That's a good one. Let me write it down. I'll go, what was that really good idea you had? Let's say metal or tin foil. And I love the way you say tin foil, Steve. You're speaking my language. Tin foil, not aluminium or aluminum. Tin foil. Excellent. Millipedes. Millipedes. They are good. If I find any, I put them in my compost. Same as snails. I put them in my compost because they just eat everything up and poopy on it, and like worms. If I find anything like that, put them in. They aerate, like the beetles, any like type of beetle. Or grubs. I put them in my compost. Cheap to try out. Yes, it certainly is. I think the tin foil would be my best option. I think that would be a really good option. Certainly worth trying. And if any of you have mice problems, or you see a little tiny hole where you get mice in, because they can go through like very small holes, stick some tin foil in the holes. They won't cross that. Crunch up a big bit of tin foil and shove it in any mouse holes. I know my Australian friends have lots of problems with mice. If you've got any little holes, or if you've got a shed or something where you keep animal food, something like that, and you've got a little tiny hole, bit of tin foil, aluminium or aluminum, or kitchen foil. Some people call it kitchen foil. Mealybugs. Mealybugs. That is what looks like, almost like a cross between white foam and very dense white cobweb. And then you might see the little mealybugs. You normally get them on citrus fruit, but you can get them on other vegetables as well. We get them sometimes on our lemon tree, and it looks like a tiny bit of like very thick, dense, cobwebby type, candy flossy white, just a little bit, like a little bit of cotton wool maybe. And that is mealybugs, and you need to get that straight off. There's another bug I've done a video on in that playlist, which is mud dauber. That can also be called dirt dauber, mud wasp, potter wasp, or paper wasp. So you see how you've got to know different names for what you're looking up. And they make, if you saw my little promo bit just now of bugs, you'll see I'm holding a little, it looks like a little clay mass with holes in, and that's what they do. They make those. They can come indoors in your house, and they go in crevices and make those kind of mud nest, if you like. They're not harmful. They're not like wasp nest or anything. They don't bite or anything. And I've even found one before in my bookcase. One book's been pulled out slightly so all my books line up, but it's not as long as other books. And when I've cleaned out my bookshelf and take all the books out to give a really good dust, there's been one stuck between the bookcase at the back and the pages of the book. So I'm often finding those. Hawk moth. Now, any moths or butterflies, although they're nice to have, particularly butterflies, that is one of our main pests here. They lay the eggs and the caterpillars eat my crops. I would say caterpillars is my worst thing here, and my second worst thing that eats a lot of things is chameleons. We have chameleons, but I love them. I love the chameleons, so they can eat. Hedgehogs eat quite a bit here as well, but caterpillars, and that's why you're seeing a video coming up, these frames I've built to just really protect my brassicas, my broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower. They're the main thing that the butterflies seem to land on for me. So growing brassicas, I need some frames. Frames, no cost frames. What else? Cucumber beetle. I think that's something else I do get, cucumber beetle. And though it's called cucumber beetle, you'll find that on just about any crop, any crop. Tomato plants, cucumber plants, so many things. It's a tiny little black, looks like a ladybug, but smaller. There's that. What about hornets? We have the oriental hornet here, so they bite badly, and I did a community post, I think a couple of years back, where I show my bite from the hornet. I ended up going to a hospital. I wasn't allergic to bees or wasp or anything, but these are so horrendous, the oriental hornets, if they bite you. And they kept me in, and they do this draw around your leg, and then they watch you for an hour or so, and if it gets bigger or not. They gave me antihistamines, they gave me an injection straight away, because if it does take hold, you need it, like the anti-venom. That was the injection I had, because they don't wait and see if you're affected by it. And they kept me sitting there for, I can't remember, an hour or a couple of hours, and then it hadn't got bigger, and they had the camera on me just to make sure I wasn't passing out or anything at all. Cheap to try out, yes. Grass snakes here eat slugs. Yeah, it's circle of life here as well. So your bugs pollinate your vegetables, and the bugs are then food for the snakes, and the snakes are food for the birds, and hedgehogs eat small snakes. It's just a whole circle of life, really. Everything eats something else, which is why I get so upset in some countries where they get rid of, say, forest land or wetlands or anything, or wipe out. Here we have the processionary caterpillars, and you hear so many stories. I hate to say it, but it's from the Brits here, that, oh, they're so dangerous, they're so dangerous, and let's chop all the pine trees down, is what they do in Portugal. If you see any expats in Portugal, they want to cut all pine trees down. Well, it's all messing up the eco life, isn't it? There's everything for everything, and things get wiped out if you take away where they live or take away their food source. And yeah, we used to watch quite a few expats in Portugal channels, and every season of processionary caterpillars, they were like, well, we're chopping down all our pine trees. I was like, oh, for goodness sake, how many years have there been pine trees for? So yeah, do keep the environment as is. Don't build up these wetlands and whatever else, apart from which, when they build housing on wetlands, then years down the line, our house is sliding or falling or sinking, or, well, hello there. Or dry riverbeds. Never build in a dry riverbed. If you see flooding in communities, they've often built on old wetlands or old quarries or dry riverbeds. So apart from checking your surveying report of your new house, people won't pay for it. They think, oh, new house won't have any problems. But let me just say, get an environmental person to look at it. It's worth paying to see what the land's built on first. Well, that was a good bit of fun today, so I'm going to finish there. I've just tipped over my hour. Dutch elm beetle. Oh, that's a good one. Yes, Dutch elm beetle. Certainly is. Oh, and about the caterpillars, I remember we had them in England when I was at school. They're little, and they said, "Oh, if you touch the hairs, you'll die, or you'll go blind, or all these things." It's like, yeah, we used to have at school. They used to go up the school wall, and the boys used to grab them off, hide them in their hands, and then go up to girls and put them down the back of their necks. And I don't remember ever in my whole life hearing in England of a child or an adult that ever got blind or poisoned or anything from, or having their half their tongue missing because they put their hand down there to try and get out, and then they might touch their mouths. Anyone losing their tongue from that. So talk to natives. If you hear anything about anything in a country, go and ask a local about them first. Ooh, Death Watch beetle. Yes, that can be dire for sure. Okay, so I'm out of here. Thank you so much for being this. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being this. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching this back later, thank you for watching to the end. Thank you to those who came in the chat. And I appreciate you all. As I always say, there's so many channels out there. So I appreciate so much that you spend some time on mine. So until next time, hopefully I'll be back Friday and I'll tell you the update on if anything happened on Friday when I went to the eye hospital. You don't see me on Friday, Tamir. Hope that everything's okay message. So that's on my other channel. So until next time, I will be back here on this channel on Monday. So until then, bye for now.